The Trimmed Lamp by O. Henry. Lou and Nancy were friends. They came to New York to find work because there wasn't enough to eat at their homes. Nancy was 19. Lou was 20. Both Nancy and Lou were very pretty. Lou found work in a laundry. She was an ironer. Nancy began to work as a sales girl. At the end of 6 months of their life in the big city, Lou met a young man named Dan. They soon became good friends. In fact, they fell in love with each other. They went out together several times a week. "Aren't you cold, Nancy?" Lou asked her friend one evening. They were standing on the corner waiting for Dan. "I feel sorry for you. Why are you working in that old store for $8 a week? I made $18 last week. Of course, ironing is not so pleasant as selling gloves in a store, but it pays. None of the ironers makes less than $10 a week. I like my work." "And I like mine," said Nancy. "Even though I make only $8 a week. I like to work in a big store and to be among beautiful things and nice people. One of our sales girls married a steel maker from Pittsburgh. He makes a lot of money. You may be sure I will catch a millionaire someday." "And whom can you marry working in a laundry?" "Why, I met Dan in the laundry," said Lou. "He came in to get his Sunday shirt and collars and saw me. I was ironing. Later he said he hypnotized my arms first. How white and drawn they were. I tell you, some very rich men come to laundries. Of course, if you want to starve and put on airs, do as you like." Just then Dan came. He was an electrician, making $30 a week. It was clear he was in love with Lou. He looked at her with the sad eyes of Romeo. "Nancy, I want to introduce to you my friend, Mr. Owens. Dan, shake hands with Miss Dunford," said Lou. "I'm very glad to meet you, Miss Dunford," said Dan. "I've heard so much about you from Lou." "Thanks," said Nancy. "I've heard from her about you too." "I have tickets for a theater," said Dan. "Let's all go." The three of them started out to have a good time together. Nancy had no gentleman friends. Nobody waited for her after work. Some of the salesgirls joked that she was waiting to catch a millionaire. "I will make the biggest catch in the world, or nothing at all," she used to say. One day, two of the salesgirls who worked with Nancy invited her to have dinner together with them and their gentlemen friends. The dinner took place in a fashionable cafe. One of the gentlemen friends had no hair on his head. The other wore a diamond ring and liked neither the food nor the wine. The next day the gentleman with the diamond ring appeared in the shop and asked Nancy to marry him. She said no. Then he left. One of the girls said to Nancy, "What a terrible fool you are! That fellow is a millionaire. He is the son of Van Skittles himself. Are you mad, Nancy? What do you want? Do you want to be a Mormon and marry Rockefeller and the King of Spain at the same time?" "I don't want his money," said Nancy. "I don't like him, that's all. I want to marry a rich man, that's true, but I also want to like him." Lou worked on in the laundry. Out of her $18 a week, she paid $6 for her room and board. The rest of the money went for clothes. When the day's work was over, she met Dan, who was always waiting for her outside the laundry. Sometimes Dan didn't like her clothes. They were too bright. He thought and in the bad taste. But she liked bright clothes, and when people in the street looked at her, she liked that very much. Dan and Lou always asked Nancy to come with them when they went out to have a good time. One Saturday afternoon, the two girls met, and Lou said, Dan is always asking me to marry him, but why should I? I'm independent. Now I can do what I like with the money I make. And if I marry Dan, he will not allow me to work. Nancy, what are your plans for the future? Have you coached your millionaire yet? Not yet, said Nancy with laugh. I haven't selected one yet. You are joking, of course, said Lou. Millionaires don't notice working girls like us. Still, I'm sure that I will catch one before you do. Nancy worked on. She watched and studied the rich man and woman who came to the store. She hoped someday to find the man she could marry. So she kept her lamp trimmed and burning to receive her bridegroom when he could come. One Thursday evening, Nancy left the store and walked over to the laundry. Dan and Lou had invited her to go to a musical comedy with them. Dan was just coming out of the laundry when she arrived. There was a strange, nervous look at his face. I hope to find out something about her. I thought they had heard from her, he said. Heard from whom? What are you talking about? Said Nancy. Isn't Lou there? I thought you knew everything, said Dan. She hasn't been here or at the house where she lived since Monday. She took all her things from there. She told one of the girls in the laundry that she was going to Europe. Has anybody seen her anywhere? Asked Nancy. Dan looked at her. His gray eyes were like steel. They told me in the laundry, he said, that they saw her yesterday in an automobile with one of those millionaires that you and Lou were always talking about. For the first time in her life, Nancy didn't know what to say. Then she laid her hand on Dan's arms and said, You have no right to say such things to me, Dan. Do you think that she has done it because of my jokes about millionaires? I'm sorry for you, but I have nothing to do with it. I'm sorry I said it, answered Dan. Don't be angry with me. I have tickets for a show tonight, he said a moment later. If you... Nancy saw how miserable he was and she felt sorry for him. I will come with you then, she said. 3 months passed before Nancy saw Lou again. One evening, she was hurrying home from the store. Suddenly somebody called her name. She turned around and saw Lou, who caught her in her arms. Nancy noticed at once that Lou had become rich. She was very well dressed and had diamond rings on her fingers. You little fool, cried Lou. I see you are still working in that store. I see you haven't caught a millionaire yet. And then Lou looked at and saw that Nancy had something better than money, something that shone brighter than stars in her eyes, something that was redder than a rose in her cheeks. Happiness. Yes, I'm still in the store, said Nancy, but I'm going to leave it next week. I've made my catch the best catch in the world. I'm going to be married to Dan. To Dan. He is my Dan now. A policeman going around the corner of the park saw 2 young women. One of them, with diamond rings on her fingers, was crying like a child. The other, a simply dressed working girl, was trying to console her. The policeman passed on. He knew he couldn't help the one who was crying.